Hola, bonjour, and hello. Today I wanted to talk about my 2026 study guide. I do this thing where I put together an idea of things that I want to learn each year. And to be completely honest, this is the first year that I'm really putting forth a ton of effort into making it as outlined as I am. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it up and we're just going to talk through it because if you are following along with this channel as a subscriber or whatever, you're probably going to see a lot of this. And here is your heads up, your forewarning. Okay, so originally I planned to break this down into quarters with the top left being Q1 and then Q2 and then Q3 and then Q4. But the fact of the matter is, once I started getting into Q2 and Q3, I was like, holy crap, this might take the rest of the year. So let's talk through Q1 first because it's the simplest. So my goal for Q1 is to really deep dive into WASM. So I've written some code that compiles to WASM. I have a loose understanding of how WASM works, but I really want to become like a specialist at WASM. Someone who has really good understanding of how memory is managed in WASM, how the host environment interops with the actual WASM code or executes the WASM code. I want to be able to talk about garbage collection and interfaces, component models, things like that that come up in WASM 3.0. And then also have some familiarity with WASI to the point where I would know when it's a good opportunity to leverage something like WASI or just general embeddings for that matter. Starting out, I'm working on the WASM core concepts. I've been reading through the WASM specification, and then I'll be honest, it's not a page turner. It is a bit of a slog to read, but it's really informative. After that, my next plan is this read a WAT file. I'm also going to write one by hand, I think. Actually, that's farther down. These stars indicate deliverables. So I'm hoping to deliver something at this point. So this might be a video of me walking you through a WAT file and reading it and explaining what it does. It also might be maybe a blog post or maybe something. I don't know. Some deliverable. Once I've done that, I want to get into the internals. So module structure, sections and encoding, indirect calls. I wish my handwriting was better. I would love to be able to read what this says. Indirect calls and roles, maybe. Linear memory. And then after that, getting into writing a WAT file by hand. And then another deliverable, which would be building a WASM loader in Zig. So this isn't necessarily a runtime or anything, but like loading a WASM file, being able to read the header information, do things like that. Step 6 will be getting actually into JS and WASM interop. So kind of important to mention, everything up to this point has nothing to do with JavaScript as the host system. So we'll jump into that as well. And then I'd like to build a minimal JS web app. I don't know how possible this is, but I think that this is going to be an opportunity for me. Actually, minimal is subjective, so it is very possible. But to meet my expectations for what I'd like to deliver, I don't know how possible that will be. My expectation here is that I will write as little JavaScript as possible and try to manage as much as I can through WASM and get an idea of what that looks like. There's overhead with communicating between WASM and JavaScript and going back and forth. So I kind of want to be mindful of that as well and try to come up with a solution that essentially minimizes the talk between the two. Step 8, I mentioned WASI and embedding previously, but that'll come next after the minimal JS web app. And then step 9 will be WASM 3.0, garbage collection, interfaces, the component model. And then step 10 is just sharing my knowledge. So finding ways to kind of pay it forward, because to be completely honest, as I started looking into this more and more, the resources that exist for WASM are very academic and verbose or very technical. And don't get me wrong, I think those are probably the best resources because they're true to the point. But I also think finding a way to make some of these concepts more digestible could be really helpful for other people. And I think that's a skill that I have that I'm pretty good at, is taking complex concepts and making them digestible. Hopefully you agree too. If not, you can yell at me in the comments below. So my expectation is that this will take all of Q1. I don't know. We'll see. This is a really loose roadmap, but I hope that it's about Q1. Maybe it goes a little longer. Maybe it ends a little earlier, but that's what I'm hoping to accomplish in Q1. As we move on to Q2, or whenever I get to it, we're going to deep dive into databases. So I've got a book that is, one second, let me go get the book. Okay, I'm back with the book. I've actually got a couple books that I grabbed, but I've got this database internals book. I've slowly been working on this, To be completely honest, I've not given it as much time as I would have loved to when I first bought it, but I'm reading through that during Q1 as well. So the idea is to have that book down and have a pretty decent understanding so I can kind of hit the ground running for Q2 as we get into databases. So the first thing will be really just the mental model for how databases are constructed, how they're built, what they do, how they do the things that they do. After that, it'll be looking into OLTP versus OLAP. I have a rough idea on both of these and what they do well. I would like that rough idea to be a very well thought out idea and be able to make a recommendation for one over the other if someone were to ask. After that, I want to talk about row versus column, and we'll get into this a little bit more in depth. These are more educational at this point, but actual deliverables around this will come later. Also, understanding volatile versus durable state comes next. Files, pages, and blocks will come after that. Append-only storage, memory mapped versus syscalls, and then finally our first deliverable, which would be a page manager. This will also probably be written in Zig, but there might be opportunities to write it in something else as well. So yeah, we'll see. Literally, we'll see. Maybe we will see if I end up writing it in C as well. Who knows? It'll be fun. After that, I want to get into heap files and slotted page layouts. Another deliverable for that. We'll get into B+ trees. I've kind of been poking around at B+ trees for a while. I think I have a pretty decent understanding as to how they work, but this will be a good opportunity to really make sure that is true because I will need to have that down before we really go much further. So there will be a deliverable there. We'll probably build a B tree and probably Zig. I don't know. We'll see. Something. We'll build a B tree in some language. And that'll almost certainly kind of maybe be a video. After that, we get into hash indexes and then LSM trees, another deliverable, honestly, probably another video. Bloom filters, I feel pretty confident about Bloom filters already, but again, this is an opportunity to make sure I really have a good understanding before moving forward. There's actually already a video on my channel about building a Bloom filter in Zig, so yeah, if that's something you're interested in, check it out. I'll try to link it right somewhere. After Bloom filters, logical versus physical query plans. To be honest, this is where I start to have no idea what I'm getting into. So that'll be fun. Query operators and supporting different operators, that is exactly what it sounds like. But as for how it actually works, I have no idea. We'll figure it out. The volcano model, which is a thing. I didn't know that was a thing until, yeah, I probably should throw the word database at the end. But yeah, there's a classical evaluation strategy of an analytical DBMS query, and I probably should make that bigger for you. Each relational algebraic operator produces a tuple stream, and a consumer can iterate over its input streams. I won't spoil it. We'll get more in depth on it when we actually get to it. But yeah, I want to make sure I have a good understanding of the volcano model because it seems important. 17, we've got vectorized execution. That would be really nice to figure out how that works and actually implement it because vectors are fantastic. They are so fast, and I feel like we would be hindering ourselves if we didn't leverage vectors. And then 18 is essentially a miniature query engine. So we'll build an actual engine at that point that handles these queries and does things with them. And yeah. Okay. This is intended to be Q2. My hunch is that this will be Q2 and Q3, and honestly, it might even bleed into Q4. So this might be a very long-term roadmap. But assuming that somehow we do manage to stick to Q2, the plan is that Q3 will be databases part 2, which includes things like ACID and transactions. Then we'll move into isolation levels. We'll move into anomalies, such as like dirty reads and phantom reads. We'll move into locks versus MVCC, and then timestamp ordering, serializable snapshot execution, and then we'll build a lock manager. Again, I'm sure you can imagine what language I'll say that we'll build this in, but at this point in time, who knows? We're probably looking at, September 2026 at this point, if not later. So we'll see. Things may change. Zig 16 should be out by then, and hopefully I'll be more excited than ever about it, but we'll find out. After that, we'll also build an MVCC engine, which will be another fun project. It might take a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. And then we'll read about write-ahead logging, and then we'll build something in the veins of a WAL so that we can really cement that knowledge. We'll do some educating on crash recovery and then query planning. This is so interesting. We talked about queries up here, but and like logical versus physical query plans, but actually like optimizing a query planner or optimizing queries with a query planner is fascinating. So I really want to take the time to dig deep into that and then have a deliverable to make sure that I really understand it. A statistics collector, so this will be collecting information, well, really statistics about the databases, the tables, information like that, queries, that type of stuff. And then we'll get into replication. We'll get into consensus with probably Raft. Raft is, to my knowledge, one of the better options out there. So as far as consensus algorithms go, I think we'll build something with Raft. And then for 15, we'll get into column stores. And then finally, a deliverable that I think I can make at this point, even though I won't have databases fully mastered, because what does that even mean? I have this project called LowKeyDB that I want to build. So we're going to build that. And at the current point in time, the plan is to be an embedded database, but we'll see. My interests may change as I go through all of this and kind of build this out. So I think having a full database that I build from the ground up will be a really fantastic opportunity to take everything that we've covered and really dig deep into it. So I was filling this out at a coffee shop and I realized that I left this one blank. The reason I left this blank is, again, I think all of this is going to bleed over into Q4. But if it doesn't, there's a couple other things that I would love to get into. So I am particularly interested in a couple neat things. I like emulators, and I'd like to build a Chip 8 emulator. So I might look into that. Also, I might squeeze that into just any random point because I don't think a Chip 8 emulator would take too long to build. And yeah, it might be a nice break from databases or something similar. And then if we get to this point in Q4 and I actually have time left, I have another book on quantum computing for everyone. I would like for this to really be my first deep dive into quantum computing because I think that quantum computing is going to change the game when it becomes a little more mainstream. I think that my personal belief is that we have some really interesting problems ahead of us, and quantum computing and AI can help solve a significant overlap between the two. But there's some stuff that quantum will be able to solve that I just don't know how AI would be able to solve. But the key thing is with AI, we're burning the planet down as we do it, and something like quantum computing has the potential to maybe not have as much negative consequences for the environment. So I'm very hopeful for the future of quantum computing. I also just generally find the idea of quantum computing fascinating. Loving the idea of new computing architectures that aren't necessarily based on and off positions, but instead having the concept of qubits and not knowing the position until the qubit is observed and things of that nature. Yeah, this is my plan for 2026. This is a different video than usual, but hopefully you're as excited as I am about these things because, to be honest, you're probably going to see a lot of them on my channel as we get going, and we'll build some fun stuff along the way too. It's not going to be just this, but yeah. I think that's it. So if you haven't yet and you want to see more of this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. You can click the bell for notifications, and let me know what your thoughts are. Are you excited for this? Dreading it? You just want me to go back to TypeScript, maybe? Go? I don't know. I'm here for your feedback. Let me know in the comments below, and thank you so much, and have a great day.